Rick and Gordon, great to see you today. About 9 months ago, we were talking about this album that you were going to make.
Thank you. Sorry, you mentioned 9 months. Something else just sprung to mind there.
So, the album From Brush and Stone, whose idea was it to put you two guys together, or did it come from either one of you?
Ironically, it was our mutual friend Malk, who's Rick's roadie, tour manager, merch person.
He does the merch, Mad Mal.
Right.
Yeah.
He's known as. And he's a huge fan of Gordon's, and I think he goes to virtually every show you do.
He does, yeah, he does.
And he used to come to a lot of mine, and he works with me doing the merch bits and pieces. He's using, you and Gordon you should do an album together. You must do an album together. That's what you should do. You should do that. And it was like a long playing record with the needles.
He was
for years and years.
And I think probably your comment was the same as mine. Yeah, I'd love to. Where are we going to find the time?
Yeah, I suggested to Gordon when I came up and did his bash in Birmingham, which was most enjoyable. I had a lot of fun playing on Gordon's pieces. So Gordon and I discussed it, and in fact I asked you, have you got some stuff you can send me?
Yeah.
That's how it started, isn't it?
I think this album is a prime example of two guys that have been in the business so long, they completely trust each other to do what they know is to be right. And the irony is, and I've never worked this way, but the way Rick works with Eric, his sound guy, is wherever he records, just gives to Eric, and Eric goes away and mixes it. And what an incredible job
he's very good. The thing about Eric taught me to do this, and it goes back, I suppose, to when I was doing the Return album. I was there, and he's all this, and he just basically said to me, the equivalent of the words one day, why don't you go away and leave myself and James, who the two engineers were, why don't you just leave us to it? Let us do some mixes. You come back, you have a listen. If there's anything that upsets you, like, oh, that trumpet's too loud or that violin's not loud, you just tell us, and it's dead easy. We go back to the copy mix, we just alter that little bit, you go away, and we do it again. And they said, and it was Eric who taught me the way. He said, you as a composer and a performer can't do what the general public do, and that's listen to your piece of music for the first time.
The reason why I personally am absolutely delighted with this album is the love that Eric has put in to mixing this up. He genuinely loves the music.
Both of you have been involved with concept albums one way or another, but there's certainly a theme.
This wasn't going to be a thematic album, it was just going to be a mixture of tunes.
It just so happened that it worked out that way.
And I said, I've got a suite of tunes, Rick, inspired by paintings. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll write a suite of tunes. But his were inspired by sculptural images.
Right.
So you got those two things happening.
When I got Gordon's piece, I got them on first, and I just liked the idea. I thought that's a really nice idea of that suite, and I thought it would balance the album rather than we just do a group of pieces to find something as well. And it was my game just purely because I was emptying out some boxes still from when I've moved, and one of the books that came out was a book on sculptures.
Was it really?
And I just looked and went, well, that's a good idea, because I think it would have ended up as a concept now. I mean, Gordon came up with the idea for the name. He wasn't keen on I had knickers and bras, which I thought...
You said Gordon and Rick
I can see the commercial disadvantage with that.
Mother was Gordon and Rick Plonk a bit. But I thought it was a great title on Brush and Stone. I like that title a lot.
When you received Rick's tracks, was the one in particular that stood out for you? You thought, ooh, I can really do something with this.
Most of it did.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Rick, he said when he was writing this stuff, he was thinking in terms of, okay, Gordon's got to play in this, so I'm going to sort of fashion the music so it's going to work for me to play on this.
Right. We did give each other sort of guidelines.
The main thing that occurred to me was when I heard, I thought, how the hell am I going to fit in with this? Because you've got this virtuoso piano player doing all this stuff, and I thought, I've got to be very careful how I'm going to fit in here. Yeah. It took a lot of time and a lot of thought.
There's one particular piece where we played it, and I started putting bits and pieces on and that there, and Eric was great. He says to me, right, have a listen back to all the bits you've done. Right? He said, okay, now it's up. I'm going to do something, and tell me what you think. And he played it back to me, and he basically pulled 80% of it out, and just put little bits in. But it didn't sound like that.
Right.
It sounded like there was a couple of bits gone, but that was all. And I said, yeah, what have you pulled out because it really works. And he said, most of it.
It's that less is more thing.
Yeah, it was. He said, I think it's about 4 or 5 different entries. And he said, the entries make more of an impact to what Gordon's playing than just playing all the way through. So I was very lucky. I mean, Eric's great. I mean, I've known him for many years. And he'll quite happily turn around to me if I do something. It was interesting on this Seasonal Gus. I remember recording that. The first time I played it through, I thought it was quite good. You know, one of the first times I said that's really good. So, and he said, "Can I be just brutally honest about your performance then?" And I said, "Yeah, of course you can, Eric." He said, "Crap." Yeah. He said, "You could do it a million times better." I said, "Well, keep that one." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Well, in case." He said, "No." He said, "Because it's not good enough to go." So why keep it? He said, "If you think that's the best you can do," he said, "we'll move on." He's great at that. Yeah. So, okay. And I tell you what, about an hour later, he sort of turned around with the Eric Jordan grin and went, "There you go."
So look at some of the titles: The Discus Thrower, The Thinker, David, The Kiss. They're very famous statues.
They are.
So did you write a piece of music with the title in mind, or did you just decide to call it?
I can't do that. I can't just sit down and... Well, I say I can't. Occasionally something will happen, and then I'll give it a title other than piece. But in this situation, what I did, because I found the book.
Right.
I'd already worked on Gordon. So I got the book, and it was literally a matter of flicking through the book. And if I found myself stopping at a page, you start thinking of things in your head, and then I would take it through, I would put it by the piano, and I would look at it and I would start playing. And come up with some minor idea.
Gordon, what about you? I mean, another one of my favourites, the Last of England. How did you sort of come up with that? Presumably, that's. I mean,
it's a similar way to Rick, actually. I mean, so many people we're both composers. So many people that must have asked us thousands of times, "How do you compose?" Yeah. We don't know. It really is a mystery. You just don't know. But hopefully, at the end of it, you've come up with something that works and it's right. And people go, "Well, that's perfect for that. How did you do that?" I don't know. But you just focus on it. It's a subliminal thing. Most of those pieces I wrote getting on for 20 years ago. Right. So they've been around a long time. It's called the Brotherhood Suite, inspired by pre-Raphaelite paintings. They've been around a long time. A piece on there called The Light of the World. I wrote the main riff, and Rick doesn't know this, 1973. That opening riff I wrote in 1973.
It's only 4.
You had a hard paper round, didn't you, Rick? You've had a tough life.
Guys, it's great to talk to you as ever. And as I said, the best of luck with it. I'm sure you're not going to.
Thanks for coming all the way down from... Was it Liverpool today?
It was today, yes.
What a story. Came down on the train as well. He came
on the train.
Yeah. British Rail. God bless you.
That was Virgin Trains, actually.
Oh, was it? Oh, cool.
I prefer using Virgin Trains.
Yes.
And on that note, it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from him.